It all started in Louisville, a developing city on the Ohio River. Two men and a mission west. But what were they thinking? What were they feeling? And what did they expect to find out west? The promise of new lands, of unknown riches, lay before them as they embarked on an expedition out of Louisville, Kentucky, and into the history books.
This is Thomas Jefferson. He's the third president of the United States, and he bought this chunk of land from this guy, Napoleon Bonaparte. Louisiana Purchase, he bought for $15 million, and that's about 3 cents an acre. Most people weren't sure what was out in the West, and most people that wrote about it hadn't been there. People thought there were unicorns, 7-foot beavers, massive mammoths, skinny-waisted buffaloes, and blue-eyed Welsh-speaking natives. While virtually no one knew what was out west, most hoped for a water passage connecting the known United States to the Pacific Ocean. Even before officially closing the deal on the Louisiana Purchase, Thomas Jefferson approached his 29-year-old secretary, Meriwether Lewis, about exploring the new expanses of the American West. After some intense training, Meriwether Lewis headed to Louisville, Kentucky to prepare for his expedition, gathering supplies and building a team to accompany him on this incredible journey. Remembering a dear friend and former military commander, William Clark, Lewis wrote to Clark asking him to join him on such an important undertaking.
Thus, my friend, you have a summary view of the plan, the means, and the objects of this expedition. If, therefore, there is anything under those circumstances in this enterprise which would induce you to participate with me in its fatigues, its dangers, and its honors, believe me, there is no man on earth with whom I should feel equal pleasure in sharing them, as with yourself. Find out and engage some good hunters, stout, healthy, unmarried men, accustomed to the woods, and capable of bearing bodily fatigue in a pretty considerable degree. Should any young men answering this description be found in your neighborhood, I would thank you to give information of them on my arrival at the falls of the Ohio.
The group of 33 men that answered the call and accompanied Lewis and Clark on their expedition were known as the Corps of Discovery. Among these men was Clark's own slave, York. An invaluable member of this team, York is honored and memorialized in Louisville today. Leaving from Louisville in October of 1803, the Corps of Discovery headed to St. Louis, the gateway to the west, and on up the Missouri River. This path that Lewis and Clark took led them up through the present-day Northwest. Along this route, the group met Sacagawea, a Native American from the Shoshone tribe. Married to a Frenchman on the expedition, Sacagawea proved to be an essential part of the expedition's success. Able to guide as well as negotiate and translate, Sacagawea allowed the explorers to safely travel and trade with the many tribes of natives that the expedition met along the way. Lewis and Clark's expedition is not only famous for their encounters with various Native American tribes, but also for their discoveries of new plants and wildlife, such as the coyote and the grizzly bear. The Corps of Discovery also had to overcome the hardships of the northwestern terrain. The many rivers and the colossal Rocky Mountains tested the strength and perseverance of those explorers, who also had to endure the tough winters of their 2.5-year journey. On November 15, 1805, the expedition team finally reached the Pacific Ocean and camped there for the winter before turning back home. As to be expected, there were a few disagreements on this expedition.
They all have moss on it. I led us to the Pacific Ocean. I think I know which way to go. No. I took us all the way across the country. I think I know that you don't know anything by a rock. No, it was lime green moss. Where do you see that? All the moss. No. Everywhere. America. No. Oh my God. No, we're going this way. We're going this way. We're going this way.
Even so, they were quickly resolved, never truly threatening the expedition or its success. On November 5, 1806, The expedition returned to where it began in Louisville, Kentucky, and was met with a great celebration at the Locust Grove home. Even though the Corps of Discovery never found a waterway connecting to the Pacific, each individual member had their own goals for the expedition. Lewis and Clark wanted the adventure and the excitement in the pursuit of new scientific and geographical discoveries. Sacagawea, though she had little choice in going on the expedition because Lewis hired her husband, experienced good treatment and was eventually given a voice in the group, voting on where they would make camp during the Pacific winter. Meanwhile, York longed for freedom, something he had a taste of on the expedition through being able to vote on decisions, but he never realized full freedom even upon his return. Lewis and Clark's expedition symbolized America's first steps into the West, but also the meeting and collaboration of different peoples and different cultures.
I had this day an opportunity of witnessing the edges.
Out now. Okay.
Sweetness of the cinnamon.